And how much less, like 50% less?
80%.
80% less? Wow. I know, the title is a bit dramatic, but I think this is a very important vlog for all those that are considering Uber or maybe want to go in Uber. And this is not only about Uber, it's about the sharing economy. So also Airbnb is heavily affected. But let's start from the beginning. I thought the very best way to gather some information, some additional information, because, maybe some of you guys say, what do you know about Uber? If you're not even invested, well, I studied this company very long time. I'm using their product so often. It's a great product. It's a great service. And also, I read maybe the most important book for Uber and Airbnb, The Upstarters, which explained the whole vision, the culture, and everything from beginning to a very established point of the company. So therefore, maybe I'm even more entitled to give you some information about Uber than some other investor that just go there because of the name. However, let's talk about the sharing economy, something quite new, something quite novel for us, because we started to share our personal space, our car space with strange people. If you would 10 years ago tell someone, hey, with your phone, you can call a stranger that brings your daughter from A to B, I think you would say, well, this is a crazy idea and this will never happen. Now we're using it on daily basis, guys, right? The Uber is like your iPhone or your Netflix subscription, something that we are using on daily basis, and that is very practical and well thought through. But I think there is one flaw in the whole system of Uber, which is the ride-sharing business, right? Because we know that there is something coming up. Not only the current health situation is a huge problem for them, but also the further future of ride-sharing in the future. And we will talk about everything in this vlog. And I thought, what is the most interesting part to know about how the Uber business, ride-sharing business actually is doing currently during this health crisis? Because this is what we start with, and have a look. So we got just into our Uber. Safety first, but my seatbelt is, working. And how much less, like 50% less?
80%.
80% less? Wow. Now, as you can see, Uber drivers maybe need to count on 80% less revenue. And this is something that no company, not even Uber, can withstand. I know. There was the CEO, Dara, just said in an interview or in a conference call with analysts that they can go a year in this current environment. But guys, in Uber, there's something very important that push Uber forward. This short-term profitability. Now, this is a huge part because Uber went quite late to the IPO market, and therefore they did the IPO quite late once they still was not making profit, and on the other side was this huge cost center, and everybody's looking now, hey, how this product and this company can be profitable, because as of now I have to thank Uber because Uber is not making money of any on my rides and saying, hey, thank you for paying my ride. But one of the biggest problems for Uber long term I see in the ride sharing business, because the ride sharing business consists of two parts. You have a driver, you have a platform. So this platform that Uber just brought out to so many people and countries is the main asset of this company. And these drivers who make money on Uber is a very interesting business idea and revolutionized how we use taxi or the short-term ride. And Uber want to become the Amazon of transportation. Now, during these timings, we don't transport that much, even humans thinking twice if sitting in a car, stranger car, if this is the right way, right? And we have seen this actually in the stock price as well. When we started this crisis, Uber was at the highest point at $40 per share, and they dropped to a very, very low number. As of the 17th of March, they dropped almost triple. So actually 1/3. So they dropped to about $14.82 per share and got a recovery also thanks to the CEO Dara, who said, they can go with this situation quite a long time. However, since the overall recovery of about 91%, is there some changes or did I miss something? Because first of all, the ride-sharing business will be heavily impacted. Even when the lockdowns are done, still people think twice if they rather go for an own car than going for stranger transportation. Now, those who cannot resist to go will definitely require to have some sanitizers inside, like you see in the video. They have more costs for driver in this setup, and also I think the one or the other driver maybe will think about a different career path, because in the end of the day, Uber cannot reduce costs for the drivers, I think, because they will also then affect their short-term profitability. Now, we have seen if they move on 1 year like this, obviously the whole profitability story will also move 1 year, right? So this will be gone as well. And also there's even one most reason for myself that I don't invest into Uber. And this is self-driving cars. Have you seen them so far on the street? Me neither. But this is definitely the future. And the most important company that is working on that is Tesla. With the fleet size, they can gather so much information, how the cars will react, how the software need to improve, and when we can see the self-driving cars on the street. Now, I know so many people right now didn't smash the like button so far, but maybe now is the right opportunity to do that, because now I'm telling you why we underestimate as humans the effect of technology and the speed technology is coming. Now think about that. In 1913 there was the Times Square in New York, and as you can see, the only one car with a combustion engine was there between hundreds or even thousands of horsepower cars, okay? Now, just 10 years later, we see the same location and there is just one horse-powered car versus so many other internal combustion engine cars. Now, this shows us how quick technology adoption really works. And this was the same for mobile telephones, and this will be the same for driverless cars. If you see the very first self-driving cars on the street, it will take maybe 5 years, maybe 3 years, that then you will see the majority of cars will be self-driving. And Uber don't have neither the fleet that they can do it. They have maybe working on some prototypes on the software. They have a lot of data, but the database is only there because the service of Uber is quite nice and cheap, right? But if you are going for a self-driving car, you're eliminating the cost of the driver. You can still earn money by buying a Tesla and putting it into the driver fleet, robotaxi fleet. And therefore, I believe, things will change and Uber can be left out like Netflix did to Blockbuster movies, okay? So Blockbuster was the big blockbuster company for like video cassettes rental, and they died out because they didn't went into streaming. And Netflix was the small guy who actually overrun all these industries and now is one of the top streaming companies in the whole world. But I am a type of investor that love to look into those numbers, which on the first sight don't look so bad, especially as Uber is still a growth company. So we are talking about a 4 billion revenue quarter last quarter, the December quarter, which was an increase of whopping 37% almost. We are talking about a $10.87 billion cash on hand, right? So this are very strong numbers, but we obviously look also into a net income of negative 1.1 billion. We are looking into a negative operating income of almost $971 million and cost of revenue that is increasing by 20%. Now this will be very important what they can deliver us in the Q1 2020. The numbers will come out on the 7th of May, and we will see what the EPS is and also what the revenue is. The expected numbers are minus $0.5 per share on the EPS levels, and on the revenue numbers we shall see maybe a little bit more than $3 billion revenue. Now, some of you guys thinking now I'm bearish. Now, I'm not bearish, I'm actually a bull, especially for companies like Uber or Airbnb that are changing our world, that show us on everyday basis that anything is possible. They are changing our lives for good, forever. How can we ever think that Uber will be not there, or Airbnb? What is the alternative to hotels? Now, these questions will be answered soon, maybe in the next couple of months, because maybe we will have some alternatives to hotels or Uber. So you know what I'm really thinking? I'm thinking that Airbnb is also heavily affected. Not only Uber. I'm not saying that Uber is so negative, but they need to do something to catch on the leap that other manufacturers are having, like Tesla. And maybe they're putting their forces together. Maybe Uber can bring something to the table that is revolutionary to Tesla as well. Maybe the huge database of clients. But maybe also we see a huge development in the sharing economy, and maybe we see just fewer players in this economy. Because think about also the most important fact that many Airbnb hosts are actually bought properties to rent it out for tourists and guests to pay also their mortgage, and on one day have a nice property paid by clients. Now the clients don't come, the mortgage is still due, and therefore there will be a huge dilemma in this crisis as well. Maybe we see a small property crisis in this sharing economy as well, and therefore I'm not bearish. I just want you to save some money and maybe consider really your investments from A to B to C. And this is, not only on Uber or Airbnb, on every investment out there, because the investing world can be also very cruel. But however, if you don't listen to me, listen to my Uber driver that has something to say to you too.
Subscribe this channel. Name